Today, I am reviewing the Bissell FlexClean FurForce Robot Vacuum and Mop. If at any time you'd like to explore this product for yourself and grab it at a great price, be sure to check the links below the video. I have been living with the Bissell FlexClean FurForce for the last 3 weeks, and if you are a pet owner who is tired of constantly cutting hair off your vacuum brush roll, you're going to want to hear this. We have 2 shedding dogs in this house, and usually, that means I spend 10 minutes every Sunday performing surgery on my robot vacuum to get the hair out. The FurForce claims to solve that, and after putting it through the ringer on both hardwood and area rugs, I have some thoughts on whether this is actually worth the investment or just another piece of tech that ends up stuck under your couch. Let's start with the suction and the brush roll because that is the main selling point here. Bissell is pushing the NeverTangle brush roll pretty hard, and honestly, it works. I intentionally let my dogs track in dirt and shed all over the living room rug for 4 days straight to see if it would choke. It didn't. The hair actually makes it into the bin instead of wrapping around the bristles like a tight sweater. The suction power is noticeably stronger than the previous models I have tested from this price bracket. You can hear the motor ramp up when it hits a rug, and it pulls out deep-seated debris that my old vacuum usually left behind. If you check the links below the video, you can see the current pricing, but compared to some of the high-end flagships that cost double this, the pickup performance on the FurForce is genuinely impressive. Now, let's talk about the mopping, because this is where things get a bit more nuanced. It is a 2-in-1 system, and for daily maintenance, it is great. It uses a multi-surface formula that smells clean without being overpowering, and it does a good job of grabbing that fine layer of dust that always seems to settle on hardwood floors. However, do not expect this to replace a deep scrub. If you have dried-on mud or a sticky spill from the kitchen, the robot might need to pass over it a few times. You definitely need to connect it to the app to get the full functionality out of the mop, specifically for setting up no-go zones. If you don't use the app, you risk it dragging a wet mop across your expensive area rugs, which is a headache nobody wants. The navigation is handled by the 360 React LiDAR system, and it is reliable. It maps out the rooms quickly and doesn't spend half its life bumping into walls like the older bump-and-turn robots. It handles chair legs and pet beds well, though it still has a bit of trouble with those thin, black cables that seem to be everywhere in modern homes. If you have a chaotic floor plan with lots of small obstacles, you're still going to want to tidy up before you run it. It is not perfect at avoiding every single toy or stray sock, but it is smart enough to find its way back to the self-empty base without getting lost in the hallway. The self-empty base is a massive quality-of-life upgrade. It is bagless, which I personally prefer because I hate having to buy proprietary bags every few months. It holds about 8 weeks of debris, which held true in my testing, though if you have heavy shedding dogs, you might find yourself emptying it a little more frequently. The HEPA filtration is a nice touch, especially if you or anyone in your house deals with seasonal allergies. You can really tell the difference in air quality after it runs, as it isn't just blowing dust back into the room. However, it isn't all perfect. The build quality feels sturdy, but it is a bit bulky. If you have very low-profile furniture, it might not squeeze underneath some of your cabinets. Also, the app setup can be a little finicky. It took me a couple of tries to get it to sync with my home network, and the interface is functional, but not exactly intuitive. You will spend some time in the first few days tweaking the schedules and the mapping, but once it is set up, it is a set-and-forget-it kind of machine. If you are not a fan of troubleshooting software, you might find the initial setup phase a little frustrating. So, who is this actually for? If you have pets, and you are tired of the constant maintenance of cleaning out a brush roll, this is a very strong contender. It is a workhorse that handles hair and dust better than most mid-range options. If you are looking for a hands-off experience for daily floor maintenance, it delivers on that promise. You can check the links below the video to see the current pricing and explore the specific specs if you are interested in grabbing one for yourself. Who should avoid it? If you are looking for a heavy-duty mop that can scrub away tough, caked-on kitchen grime, you are going to be disappointed. This is a maintenance tool, not a deep cleaning machine. Also, if you live in a home that is consistently covered in clutter, no robot is going to save you, and you might find the LiDAR navigation struggling with too many obstacles on the floor. It needs a relatively clear path to be efficient. At the end of the day, the Bissell FlexClean FurForce is a practical, honest tool. It doesn't have a bunch of gimmicky features that you will never use. It focuses on the basics: suction, hair management, and navigation, and it does them well. It is not the cheapest option on the market, but the self-empty base and the tangle-free performance make it a solid value for the right user. It has earned a spot in my cleaning routine, which is about the highest praise I can give a robot vacuum. Just make sure you spend the time to set up your map correctly in the app, and it will save you a lot of time and effort in the long run.